signal, out that Squirtle, and Jacob Van Wagner takes game one.
Takes game one. Luckily, this match, as we said, is 75 minutes. So that probably won't be too relevant. This game did finish relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But I think Bidier is honestly happy that match didn't go on for another 5 or 10 minutes and get into a situation where Jacob might win a one-game match. I don't think that's going to happen. I still think we've used just a little bit of time, but it's always a consideration.
Yeah, and I think that in this matchup, Blastoise is actually the comeback deck. Because of Virizion, Genesect. So let's assume that Bidier does win game 2. Jacob is going to start game 3, and he's going to have the initiative and the early pressure to be able to red signal out those Squirtles. And so Bidier needs to stabilize. He might be down 2 or 3 prizes by the time he gets his first Black Ballista, but Blastoise just runs very smoothly later in the game once you set up everything. And it's possible that he could run Jacob out of energy on or Genesect. So Bidier definitely is looking to have as much time as possible for game 3.
Definitely, and going first is going to be a big help for Bidier.
Yep.
As a reminder, the TOs here have increased the prize support, so the winner of this match will get $1,000 and the loser will get $500. So they're essentially playing for $500.
Yeah.
So it's
a tidy sum, Kenny.
It's enough to fund a nationals trip, I'd say.
Yeah. Or my bar expense for this weekend.
That's true. Well, without tip. So we are getting ready to shuffle up, and you got to believe that if Bidier is able to go first, doesn't run too poorly, should be able to take this match.
Yep. And what would really help Bidier now is a Squirtle or Black Kyurem EX start. Having that start allows him to get the initiative early. Squirtle is 1 retreat, so he could always go to the bench. I found personally in my experience playing Blastoise that a Keldeo start or a Baby Black Kyurem start against Genesect is going to be a little rougher because you also need the 2 additional energy to retreat before you could Black Ballista. So let's see how Bidier goes to start game 2 of the finals at the Salem, Oregon Regionals.
Definitely. And we see 2 Squirrels on the bench. It's always a good start. I didn't see what he put in his starting position. I don't think I saw a supporter. I saw a heavy ball and a water energy. And we're hoping Jacob does have the Virizion.
And he has the Baby Black start.
As we said. He does
he does get... he has a Skyla.
He has Skyla as well.
So Kenny, what does he Skyla for here?
I mean, I think he's probably going to go... Yeah, he's going to go for the beach. If he wants to, he can attach to the Baby Black Kyurem Heavy Ball for the... I assume he's not Heavy Ball, I'm just shuffling, but Heavy Ball for the proper Black Kyurem, and then beach for 3 cards.
Yeah, I actually... I might have gone the other way with this situation. I think, I mean, obviously Bidier's here and he's playing. I think an alternative could have been actually to Skylift for the rare candy, because he had the heavy ball in hand, and to force his opponent to end him. And that also denies Jacob the turn 1 beach as well, because Jacob won't be able to attack turn 1.
Right.
So they're both certainly interesting options, and I think Bidier went the more conservative route this time to go for the beach and try to refill his hand back up to 7, so he has more options for next turn.
Definitely. And so Jacob's going to go for a Skyla, getting an Ultra Ball, I believe. Or maybe he just played an actual Ultra Ball. Either way, he's discarding a tracking and a fighting. I'm not sure why he didn't go for a Genesect there. I don't know what's in his hand, obviously. He's going to go for the beach.
So here, I think Jacob made a very conservative play there, which I don't, which I actually kind of agree with. What Jacob is afraid of is, what if Bidier gets that turn 2 Black Ballista, he loses the energy on his active Virizion, he won't be able to Emerald Slash until turn 3, and in that situation, it just gives Bidier such a huge initiative. He might even go up 4 prizes before anything gets set up. So,
and if that doesn't happen, Jacob, with 7 cards in his hand, is likely to get an energy switch and an energy.
Exactly, and he can Emerald Slash, or just an escape rope or something.
I like that play from Jacob.
Yeah.
We see Bidier with the Jirachi into the Skyla, into the rare candy.
And he has the heavy ball, so he definitely is going to get the Blastoise. And I think that's what he's going to go in for that Blastoise
I think
right
he's
now.
a little energy light for this turn at least, but getting the Blastoise is important.
The Tropical Beach is in play for Bidier, so it won't be too much of an issue to refill his hand. And look at that. He's going to get the Ultra Ball, discarding that Execute and Tool Scrapper.
So Bidier is having a pretty close to ideal start here.
Yeah.
I believe he's going to get the Black Kyurem with the Ultra Ball.
Yep.
And just when you look at their side of the field and you just see a Blastoise and a Black Kyurem EX and another Squirtle waiting in the wings, you just look at Jacobs and you have a Virizion and a Virizion with an energy. It just... The game is obviously still going. It's very early. Anything could happen. But right now, it definitely looks very.
And I think what Bidier needs to keep in the back of his mind is, how do I maybe get a second Blastoise out? Because how sometimes you lose this matchup with a fast start with Blastoise is they will red signal out your one Blastoise, end you down to a couple cards, and you won't be able to use Deluge anymore. And that's how Genesect has a way to come back. And so we'll see what Bidier does. But right now, Jacob is able to bench a Genesect off the beach. He gets a, look at that, he gets a Grass Energy and uses the Aquapolis Energy Switch featuring the Meryl.
So good. And then
with the E-Reader border. And he's able to end for 6 new cards. And if I were Jacob, I'd be pretty ecstatic about this start. I know my opponent has a Blastoise in play, but I do have a turn 2 Emerald Slash. I'm able to get a Genesect on the bench to get 2 energy on it with Emerald Slash. And it's actually close to the ideal setup for Jacob as well.
Definitely what you want to see. Looks like they're having some issues with
I think they're having some type of shuffling issue.
Yeah, I think
the judge is slightly concerned about Bidier's waterfall technique. I think he might feel that shuffling technique is insufficiently randomizing the deck. Obviously, it's up to the judge's discretion here, and I think the judge will just shuffle it up, and we'll
yeah, sure, it'll be fine. Bidier's a shuffling guy. He's been around the community a long time. He does his events by himself, but with that technique, you can something can happen where you the first clump that you put on top is the bottom card of your deck, and then you just constantly recycle one of those cards onto the top of your deck. Of course, if your opponent cuts or shuffles, it's irrelevant, but at the same time, we can't. Judges need to educate people about proper shuffling techniques.
And at the same time, I understand why Bidier doesn't want to riffle shuffle with his tropical beaches in there.
Exactly. We have an Emerald Slash.
And we do see Jacob get a Bouffalant. That Bouffalant is going to be able to do 120 damage to any of Bidier's EX attackers. It can also knock out Jirachi, and it's gonna be pesky. However, Black Kyurem EX does have 180 HP, so an Emerald Slash to a Black Kyurem EX with a Gold Breaker from Bouffalant will not be enough to knock it out. So we'll see what that Bouffalant's certainly interesting. It makes it a 7-prize game for Bidier essentially.
Indeed, and I mean, especially in this kind of matchup where you have Black Kyurem, the only way that Black Kyurem can knock out a Bouffalant is via Black Ballista, and when you're discarding 3 energy for 1 single prize is not exactly where you want to be in this format, and can come back to bite you. I think Bidier has I don't think he's out of a lot of resources. I know he doesn't have a lot of energy in his discard pile or in his hand, but I think he has plenty of stuff left.
Does he have a water in there? He has a Lightning, a Superior. He doesn't have the water.
I don't think he has any energy in his discard pile.
Yeah, that's right. So he doesn't. He's 1 card off from a big play here, being able to Black Ballista the Virizion for the first 2 prizes of the game. But he's 1 water energy off.
Unfortunately, looks like he's thinking about something though.
So let's see what he's gonna do. He's going to attach a Lightning to that baby Black.
That dowsing machine is.
I do see the dowsing machine in his hand.
I don't think that does anything though, right? Yeah, he's just gonna go for the.
He's gonna go for the Dual Claw.
For 20.
For 20 damage. The alternative here I think would be just to Tropical Beach, but I guess he's only getting 1 card that way, so he made the decision that this is probably better.
Yeah.
Or 1 or 2 cards.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, he was only getting 1 card off that beach, so and he couldn't bench Keldeo because that's free 2 prizes for Genesect.
Definitely. And Jacob's now getting a Tracheon off the Ultra Ball. He discarded a Ho-Oh and a Water for that. So I think.
So that's a good Ultra Ball there for Jacob, getting Ho-Oh and energy in the discard pile. As I mentioned, it's less of a deal in this matchup, but it could do that last 80 damage out of nowhere. Well, out of the discard pile.
Right. I think that Jacob's ideal play here is to probably be able to red signal up either the Blastoise or the Black Kyurem and take prizes, but I think he's also fine if he gets another Genesect or another...
I actually think the play here is to go for that Blastoise, because going for that Black Kyurem, Bidier plays multiple copies of that card, and we see Jacob didn't get the Plasma Energy. But Bidier plays multiple copies of Black Kyurem. If Jacob were able to somehow knock out that Blastoise, it would force Bidier then to have to go back to go Blastoise hunting again, and that would set Bidier back more than just knocking out that Black Kyurem.
And I also think that I think that Jacob is happy to just sit back.
And there's that second Blastoise I was mentioning.
So that's not going to be an issue with Bidier any longer.
And
in fairness, I do think that Jacob is fine. I think he's happy to just Emerald Slash and load up more energy on his bench. I don't think that's. I don't think he's in an unhappy position at all right now. We do see Bidier, Dowsing Machine, propagating back the egg.
Yeah, and he will discard that Keldeo, which is free 2 prizes. That card might as well read, if your opponent is playing Genesect, have him draw 2 prizes.
He starts the game with 4 prizes. And we see him get back the Heavy Ball with the Dowsing Machine. Gonna try and find a second Black Kyurem, but I think it's prized.
Oh, so he only plays 2, yeah.
I mean, I guess he could play 3.
He could play 3
I think he plays 2. I think the judge is telling Bidier that once he starts shuffling, he can't look through his deck any longer, which is correct. Once you've shuffled, you indicate that you're finished with the search.
Yeah. That's
Silent.
So
back in anyway.
There you go. There's that Silent we were talking about last game. Silent allows you to search your deck for 3 basic energy cards and bring them to your hand. Now, initially, when this card first came out, people didn't give it much thought because they thought, well, I'm wasting my supporter a turn, just get 3 basic energies. But in a Blastoise deck, or I guess in any deck that requires an attack with heavy energy requirements and also has an energy accelerator like Blastoise or Emboar, Silent is certainly an interesting option to allow you to power up an attack out of nowhere when you don't have many energy cards in your discard pile.
Definitely. Unfortunately, I don't think that he has... Does he have the superior?
Does he have a... I didn't see it.
I didn't see it, but I assume that's what he's going for. I don't think he would leave this Black Kyurem exposed. Oh, he could have just a regular... No, he must have a superior in his hand. He looks like he's preparing for it.
And there we go. Bidier will get the lightning energy. He should propagation.
Yep. Propagate.
There you go. And here's a superior. He's going to discard an Execute as well as a... Well, he has the other baby Black Kyurem. I don't know if he wants to discard that. Yeah, he's gonna get the Water.
Man, that would have been devastating if he didn't propagate first.
Yeah.
Had to get rid of one of the Waters.
So obviously this is a high pressure situation. So things you usually remember when testing,
$500.
You may not. Yeah, you may not. Also remember. So he's digging for a supporter off those 2 prizes. I don't know if I saw a trainer card. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I couldn't see either. And
but it would be if he got a supporter off those 2 prizes, it would be amazing.
And there's a 3rd energy, and the G booster here would be okay.
All right.
So the end's not even the worst thing in the world for Bidier right there. He didn't have anything going on in his hand. We didn't see Bidier supporters, but.
Here's the other thing. So yes, from a third party perspective, we're able to see that Bidier, the last card in hand was a Water energy, and I think Bidier did a good job of was a Water energy was a baby Black Kyurem, and I think Bidier did a good job there because as far as Jacob is concerned, that last card that Bidier was holding on to was a supporter. So it might have been a Skyla, so we can get another superior. It might have been a Juniper. So from Jacob's perspective, even though BDA's hand was at 3 cards, it was very likely that he had a supporter there.
Definitely. The other thing to consider is that it's not even as if BDA really needs a supporter, he just needs lots of energy. Right. He's at the point where he just has superior energy retrieval, and energy, multiple energy just gets him there because of the raw strength of Black Kyurem. We see Jacob retreat and go into that Bouffalant with the Gold Breaker attack. And
BDA here will play an Escape Rope. And we will see Jacob send out Virizion and BDA bring up the Baby Black Kyurem.
Do you have a water, Maddie? You have a water? Is there any?
All right.
And BDA beached. So he retreated.
Oof, that is a big red signal there. That Black Kyurem, I mean, when BDA whiffed that heavy ball, I mean, Jacob could have thought he just made a misplay, but...
And there's the end to follow it up.
Yeah, I think Jacob is on to the hunch that, or has a hunch that BDA is out of Black Kyurems in his deck. And if BDA didn't draw one of those 2 Black Kyurems from his 2 prizes, or one of the Black Kyurems from his... I should say, draw a Black Kyurem from one of his 2 prizes that he took earlier, then BDA is actually going to be out of...
I think it's the last... I thought I saw Black Kyurem. It's somewhere in the middle of his deck. Either way, he doesn't have it right now.
Yeah. But this could... And that Bouffalant is doing work right now.
And Jacob has another... Is a Shadow Triad, an Ultra Ball, and another Plasma Energy in his hand.
That's going to be huge there.
I don't think this is the type of game where Jacob's going to want to be OOing, but...
Yeah, and so Jacob does get that metal energy. I actually asked Jacob before he played why he played that metal. I thought it was so his Jirachi could use Hypno Strike, but actually it is to bluff Cobalion EX against the Plasma matchup, is what he said. And Cobalion has an attack, first attack that costs 1 metal and discards a special energy from your opponent's active. So that's why he plays the metal.
Indeed.
And smart play from a smart player.
And you also, as we saw last game, you need 4 different types of energy. He is rebirthing. He's probably just onto the fact that there's no catcher in BDA's deck, and he wants to be able to get energy around the board. Yeah,
this Ho-Oh is going to be completely safe on the bench. Right now, Rainbow Burn is doing 80 damage, and as we see, if Bouffalant can do 120, Ho-Oh can finish it off.
Definitely, and Jacob does have the Plasma Energy in his hand. I don't know what BDA has, but it's very possible that Jacob can gust up, red signal up the Jirachi, 120 it, and then be left with 2 prizes, and any EX KO will seal the game.
Yeah, and I think that at this point, Jacob still, the only way Jacob could potentially lose this is bad ends. From coming from BDA. And so I think what Jacob wants to do is wants to plan it such that Jirachi is his last 2 prizes. So he's going to get end to 2.
Right. We see BDA forgetting to propagate there. Yeah. Probably not too relevant.
I mean, or maybe he just wanted to thin a Squirtle and a Tropical Beach because he already has 2 Blastoises. So yeah, that's not a not a huge deal. Might even be the right thing to do there.
And then we see the end.
We see the end. Right.
The thing about this end, though, is that Jacob does have a lot of live draws. He has a fair amount of supporters left. He has the kind of like outs that he has right now are the Plasma Energies, which I think he still has 2 or 3 of, as well as the G Booster.
And what I do want to mention here, what we see here is the power of Bouffalant's ability. Bouffalant's ability basically gives it an Eviolite. It reduces all damage done to Bouffalant by 20. And with 100 HP, you effectively need to do 120 damage to it and to knock it out in 1 shot.
And Jacob just shot Juniper off of his...
Yeah. This Baby Black Kyurem will not be able to knock out Bouffalant this turn. And BDA will use Flash Freeze, which will do 80 damage. And that Boofer is coming up big, Kenny, isn't it?
Indeed. Boofer's always been a very solid ability.
Okay.
You see Jacob playing some energy switches, getting prepared for 2 Genesects to be live. No attachment yet, so he could draw the...
Yep. I actually think at this point, he might just want to knock out that Black Kyurem regardless.
Right.
I think that Jacob's ultimate plan is he sees the game on board, right? He sees a Genesect can knock out that Blastoise easily, and the other Genesect can knock out the Jirachi. So he has everything. BDA has everything on board for Jacob to win this game, and so Jacob just needs to plan on how he's going to draw this. Draw his last prizes.
Oh, was that? Oh, sorry. I thought they were. I didn't realize that the Black Kyurem would get knocked out from the. The damage counters on Bidier's side.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's much better for Jacob. Wow.
Yep.
So
that was 100 damage from the 2 Emerald Slashes before.
Indeed. We might see Jacob win this.
So if I were to say right now, I would say Jacob has the upper hand. Let's look for that Black Kyurem.
I think I see it, right?
I see it. So he needs a way to get it out. That is his. I mean,
that's his hope.
Wow, there's.
I think
another option that BDA could have is if he somehow is able to get a Keldeo out. He'll put Jacob down to 1 prize and then hope for the end. But I think this is the right play here. Going for that Blastoise Hydro Pump.
And the Juniper, so...
Yeah, I don't know what I was saying earlier. Yeah, definitely that Blastoise Hydro Pump is right. Oh, he does draw that Black Kyurem, so there is a chance here.
Okay, so if... But I think the issue is that if he can... Even if Bidier gets the Black Kyurem knockout, it'll be his... If Jacob can respond with a G-Booster, which if he gets it this turn, we know he has a G-Booster, and then anytime Plasma Energy can hit that Jirachi for the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, Bidier can always have an end later to cut Jacob off of that Plasma Energy, but...
Alright, so right now, it looks like he's gearing up for another Superior, or he's just organizing his discard. Oh, he does have an energy retrieval in hand, I think. Yeah, he does.
He does have a basic energy retrieval, just a little guy.
So, Energy Search. He's going to get one of those 2 remaining waters from his deck, and I think that's going to go on that Black Kyurem EX. He also has an energy retrieval, so we can get lightning back and water. He can attach that lightning and deluge that water. So he'll be set up for a Black Ballista next turn.
And wow, this is
coming down to the wire here, Kenny.
Quite a game. As a reminder, this is only game 2, so we will...
And so that Keldeo here is safe. And the reason that Keldeo is safe is because Jirachi also gives up the last 2 prizes, so it's irrelevant that the Keldeo is out there. Whereas earlier in the game, that Keldeo could have been 2 free prizes to swing the balance.
Indeed. See an Ultra Ball getting rid of an Ho and a Skyla. We said to Jacob draw the Plasma Energy. I don't know if he has the G-Booster in his hand or if it's in his deck. I think it's in his hand. I think I saw it, but...
I think I saw it too. But there it is. There's that G-Booster. He has the Plasma Energy. And I think he's going to go for that Black Kyurem EX. And what that does is it essentially prevents BDA from being able to one-shot his Genesect without 6 waters on a Keldeo, which is unlikely given all the resources that BDA had already used.
I don't like that play. I would have liked to have seen the Shadow Triad buy back the Plasma Energy for next turn, so he can knock out whatever gets in his way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He only does need 1 more energy after he discards these 2 Plasma Energy.
Yep. And what did he do there?
He switched to the Ho-Oh and
okay, there you go.
The energy.
Yep.
Coming down to the wire.
Coming down to the wire.
We know Bidier has no more Black Kyurems left in his deck. Jacob needs.
Oh, sorry, he had another Shadow Triad in his hand already. So I think. So then that is an okay. I still think I would have kept it because that gives you 2 outs.
How thin his deck is.
Yeah, it gives him 2 outs off it. So he gets 2 cards off an end. Keep in mind though, I think his deck is so thin that he can't beat. Oh no, he might still maybe. He has enough cards in his hand. He can still beach.
Yeah.
So.
I think he has about 11 cards. He has 6 cards in his hand, I think. And
yeah. So this comes down to.
1 more prize.
1 more prize. BDA needs to play an end here sometime in this turn if any chance. That Tool Scrapper gets the G-Booster, but that's largely irrelevant as the last 3 targets on his, or everything in play gets one-shot by Megalo Cannon without the G-Booster.
There's the end.
Here is the end. Can Jacob draw a Plasma Energy, a Shadow Triad? And he doesn't even need to at this point. Or, no, sorry, he needs the energy card, excuse me. Yeah, he needs a Plasma, Shadow Triad for the Plasma, or a Grass. Or that Colress that he just received last turn.
Well, he needs any energy will do it.
Yeah, any energy will do it.
Any kind of energy will.
And this is...
Unless Bidier has a Black Hero that we didn't know about.
I think he's out of Black Hero EXs. And here it is. There's that Hydro Pump for 100 damage. And what is in Jacob's hand? Does he have the energy? He has a Shadow Triad to get the Plasma Energy.
Wagner is your 2014 Northwest Regional Champion. Thank you for watching. I'm very sorry the stream has had trouble today. Congratulations, Jacob Van Wagner with Genesect Rizzi on Ho-Oh. We will see you next week in Orlando, Florida. Thank you, Sam Chen. I love you. Good night.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
One space left for you is one in.
Thanks for having me. It depends on. We'll see. What was it like winning a regional with like 3-3? That's a lot of games. I was very tired. I'm so hungry. You learned to play